Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott McKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk. And once again, also, thank you for your support, because we're building a platform that is dedicated to you, industrial professionals all around the world. You are bold, you are brave, you dare greatly, you collaborate, you solve problems, you're making the world a better place, and therefore, this platform is dedicated to you, and it is celebration of you, because you are the hero in this story. How about that? All right, we are, as you know, broadcasting from IoT Solutions World Congress 2023. It is a great event, and it is an event that you need to put on your calendar for next year if you are not here. So do that, because Barcelona doesn't disappoint, nor do the professionals here at this particular event disappoint. They want to collaborate with you, solve your problem. All right, in the hot seat, we have a person by the name of Sophia Hasnain.
Yes, that's right, Sophia Hasnain.
Hasnain. Okay. LinkedThings.ai is the organization. So let's get cracking. She's going to dazzle you with her brilliance. You are. Because everybody listens to me and knows that I'm not. So it's easy to get dazzled.
All right. We'll try.
We'll try. Oh, you having a good conference?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you been here before?
So no. This is my first time here in person. Yeah. Last year I was part of the hybrid program. So like there was an IoT Solutions World Congress extended version where I spoke online.
Oh, right. I got you. All right. Did you have a good time?
Yes, absolutely. I'm thoroughly enjoying this conference.
All right. For the listeners, before we get into the topic of the conversation, give us a little background on who Sophia is.
So Sophia is an electrical engineer by education who has been doing a lot of cutting edge projects all through her career. So like I started my career in 99 after graduating from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor with Masters in Electrical Engineering. I have since then worked in Pakistan, Germany, UK, working on different cutting edge technology projects. I started my career as an embedded systems engineer, embedded design engineer, and then moved on to work on IT and financial services and all these different market engagement strategy projects. Back in 2016, when this whole hype of IoT was everywhere and people were talking about the miracles of IoT and the magic of IoT, I started to look at it again, spoke to people about and was like figuring out how to do it, and we started Linked Things in January of 2016, looking at what is the shape and form of IoT in emerging markets would look like. So we started with that because there's already, even today there's like this conference is also about Europe, US, Australia, so like developed markets. We said, when bulk of manufacturing is actually happening back in, in emerging markets, which are, export-oriented markets, and they have weak regulations. So, here we talk about sustainability and resilience and being, environmentally conscious and labor laws and all of these things, right? Back there, the regulations are very weak. And if we ignore the practices over there, we all have one planet to share. So we just can't say that, okay, we'll have these islands of, good environment and everything perfect, and over there we can leave things to, Right. So you just have to look at it holistically. So we, and I was in Pakistan, so we started this in Pakistan, looking at IoT and then moving on to industrial IoT practices platform.
No, I don't even know where to start with that. That's a heck of a CV that you got going on there. I have one question.
Sure.
See, I understand the push for sustainability and that having that conversation and leveraging the technology to achieve whatever those goals are, define whatever. Do you find companies, is that a recipe for business success, or does that hinder businesses? Because it's one thing to say, yes, I get it. yes, I want to do it, but you're asking me, company, that I still have to keep the lights on. You're asking me to do something that is just, that's a challenge.
So I think the question is neither of these. Like, is that my business success or it's my business failure, or is it compulsion? Because I think we all have, once again, going back to this, we all have one planet. And if I take a very short-term view, I would say, yeah, my profit over planet, right? But the sustainability means that I have to take a bit of longer view and see that, okay, how I'm impacting my environment and the future with it, right? So you cannot have, for example, I'll give you another example of the work that we do. We have also, alongside this whole industrial IoT, we started looking at, citywide air quality, right? So air quality in many of these industrial cities and in emerging markets is extremely poor when you look at some kind of index, right? So, your top 10, top 20 cities are actually in the emerging markets. And I can have a very narrow view and I say, okay, I can continue to pollute, doesn't matter because, I have got to take care of this many workforce and, my profits and all this. But the air quality has a detrimental impact on the productivity of your employees as well. So when they walk in, if they are tired, right? If I just look at this, like, I'm producing pollution and I'm getting tired workforce at the end, or I am getting sick workforce, like that's already has allergies or, other respiratory problems. Or nowadays the studies also talk about like that you're tired, you're less motivated to work. You've got even people talk about miscarriages and brain tumors and all of this. So it's all our choice at this point. What kind of a view we want to have, and what we would like to achieve with our work.
Yeah, and it's a big picture. I understand. There's a journey that is here. It's not going to happen overnight, and I agree with you 100%. Okay, that was a tangent, a digression.
I know, and very sad, depressing.
No. It's just I don't have the answers. I don't have the insights. I don't, hang out with the people that you hang out and have those conversations. But it's an important conversation. Now, you're speaking here at this event, and I think it was the scalable. Just go down that road. Talk to us about that.
So I spoke on two sessions today. One was on Metaverse and what does it mean for enterprise, and the second one was how it was a case study, like how LinkThings could actually, a platform that was built for emerging markets, could take it outside Pakistan and deploy it in developed markets as well. So we were talking about how important technology was and what were the key trigger points that helped us to deploy it efficiently. And so I talked about what are the key things you need in the platform, and how you should approach the scalability question as well, because I think that's the question even today.
So you're saying, okay, I'm in an emerging market area, right? And I'm developing a solution, a technology solution.
Right.
And I've got to get it out of that emerging market into something much bigger, greater, scaled, more commercial.
Yes.
So you're saying, is there an effort to say, okay, I'm looking around these emerging markets and I know the businesses and the companies around there and I see what's taking place. Are you saying that that's the technology I want to work with? I want to begin bringing that one out of and scale it. Is that
or what helped us to scale, right? So what helped us to make this kind of a move from, I'll explain it to you. Like if you say that, so few things that were part of our platform. So when we started, the challenges that we were facing in emerging markets actually became challenges in developed markets later. So for example, energy crisis has hit the market only last year, like in the Western world, right? But countries that are in emerging markets always had energy crisis, right? Sustainability always has been an issue. and then workforce, right? So like, we talk about a lot of AI and modeling and, really high level stuff, which actually you can go and sell to a CEO. And I'll go take a step back and we say, talk about digital transformation and saying that, a lot of digital transformation projects fail. A lot of IoT projects fail, right?
Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah, and why do they fail? Because, you are selling something to the top layer and they buy it. And you go and you implement it for people who are at the shop floor level, for example, right? So these are the people who are actually going to use it, but you never built it for them. You built it for the management, you sold it to the management saying that, look at this, how pretty your dashboard is going to look like. You will know this, But the guy who's actually responsible, he doesn't have the tools, right? He doesn't have the buy-in. He's not engaged at all. So, and we face this challenge as well in emerging markets, and we really had to sit down and say that, okay, why are we not successful? When we look at all the case studies coming out from McKinsey or of the world, and everybody, I just don't want to blame them, but all the case studies, and you say that, look at this, they are successful, why are we not successful? So we looked at it and we said, no, the problem is that we are not building it for the people who are going to use it. We are building it for the people who are going to buy it, right? And then that's why it's not very successful. Then you go back and you say that, you want to buy it again, and they said, no, but the first time it didn't work out, it might not work out the second time. So you say, okay. So the first thing I think that we focused on was human centricity, like the topic that everybody is talking about today here. For us, human centricity was very important, going to the point where the workforce is going to engage with your platform, right? And that helps you scale. Because if you say that, a lot of people talk about one pilot, two pilots, some people say that, it was a free of cost pilot that we did and we never could scale it, we could never take it to the second machine, to third machine. But the thing is that if you don't have human centricity, if you don't have you're not able to engage the workforce. That's the end of it.
Boy, it's a common tale. I mean, I don't know what the stats are on systems like that, where they get sold at the C level and say it's going to do everything that you, C person, wants, and yet you're not responsible for it, and then it just dies a miserable death. Or it just continues to be one of the many legacy systems that you have sort of out there and figure out what to do, and it's just I've seen it all.
Yes.
And they do, and it's not out of a desire to. It's out of a desire to try to do something better.
Yes.
It's out of a desire to try to make it. But rarely do we ever interact with.
So for us it was a compulsion, because it just became mandatory, because we had to go and work with the workforce that was semi-literate, semi-skilled. Can't interpret what you're building with a bar graph and pie charts and this fancy data popping in and then simulation of the data. They don't care. They don't see that. They cannot relate to it. So how do you do it? Then you have to actually come up with graphical or visual assets that they can relate with. So if it's a tank, you say, okay, here's the tank. If it's filled, you say, okay, it's 50% filled. It's not. So you use the visual tools to tell them what they are actually, so that they can relate to what they're seeing in real world versus what they're seeing on a screen. And that increases the adoption, right?
And just to add to that, don't make it hard for me. Don't.
I'm not.
I mean, that's the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
There is a desire to adopt. If it makes my life easier, make my life easier.
Yeah.
Don't make me work for that information that I'm going. As I see it, okay, good, done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so that was one thing. The second challenge was, how do we actually retain the data in case of power failure or in case of internet disruptions? And people were not talking about edge at that time when we built it, right? So we built the edge because it was a requirement, and then we went back and we looked at it like, world is calling it now an edge, right? But it was something that we had to build. So edge is one of the things.
So let me just, for the listeners out there, Just help us just define quickly the edge, why that's important.
So, when the whole IoT thing came up, people were talking about cloud-based solutions, and then they realized that there are certain applications that would require on the ground, something close, near to the sensors, near to the devices, some processing over there. And they said, okay, that's cloud, this is edge, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of now the hardware is coming with built-in edge capabilities, and it's also, then you talk about like how to keep the data persistent and all these kind of technical terms that we can get into, but that was all part of it. So that's something. That the other thing that I think that helped us was that we, from day go, or maybe like after a few iterations of our platform, we decided that we cannot be relying on cloud-based services. So we have to build cloud-native solution, but it has to be cloud-agnostic. Because our customers were hesitant, for example, they had preferences immediately. I would be on X or Y, and I cannot be on Z, and I can, so that we had to look at how we can actually containerize the whole platform, build something that is, redeployable on different clouds and satisfy our customer requirements. And I think now it's not just about the brand or the cloud provider, but it's also if you look at companies that are multinationals or have got global manufacturing footprint, they would like to have their IoT platform closer to the manufacturing industry, right? So the industry where they are geographically, to reduce the latencies. Right? So it just cannot be that all the data from the world is going to Europe or US.
Right.
And you would like to have, if manufacturing is happening in Southeast Asia, then okay, let's go to Singapore as a hub, deploy this, and then you need something that manages the whole, this platform, network of platform.
Are these systems, and I agree, it makes complete sense, and I would imagine with your experience, you've seen a lot of changes. You've seen a lot of good things, you've seen a lot of challenging things, and it makes sense. I get it. And now with the speed at which we're digitally transforming the world, whatever that looks like, then there's other things that you're working through. These systems that you look at in these emerging markets, are they custom, or how do you look? We're at IoT Solutions World Congress, and it's just software in a sense. It's technology. It's various types. We do this. We do that. All of that is all there. It's interesting. It's noisy for me. I don't know what, where, how, but how do you? I'm still struggling with emerging market. Here's an app. Let's or program, whatever it is, and we're scaling it. When you have this out here, this is noisy.
True. It's noisy, and it's also interesting because then you get to see various things that are happening, how people are actually perceiving it. So it's actually it's truly an emerging technology, and we are talking about, and it's a big mandate because we're talking about digitizing all the physical spaces. So we're not just talking about giving you a handset and a social media access or camera access or something like this, but we're talking about digitizing all the physical assets, right? And then so there's and that's why I say metaverse, because we've got so many universes here.
It is,
right? So it's sometimes mind-boggling how much work needs to be done, right? And you need all these players and everybody coming in with their own expertise. I think it's the noise is more because everybody is excited about it. Everybody is finding their own niche solutions and saying, okay, I've got the solution. But
again, if I'm Scott Sixpack and I'm just trying to figure out how to manage my operations, and then I'm getting inundated, a confused mind does not make a decision because I'm confused. I know something. I've gone on the line. I've heard Scott talk about this, right? And I know I need to do something, but it is just, it gets down to this. I need to trust somebody.
Yes.
And it's a person.
Yes.
It's a human interaction to ensure that wherever I go, I know that I'm heading in the right direction, identifying where I need to go. That we don't need to go there yet. We can go over here. And it is. I see it as a journey. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, but you will see consolidations, I think, going forward.
Yes.
But you also see, again, IoT is such an interesting technology. You've got all the industrial manufacturers coming in this space, and you've got all these hyperscalers coming in this space, and then there are startups, and there are a lot of companies.
They're fighting for the margin. They're trying to find
exactly,
the market.
and who is going to win, and who's going to do what, and then you've got clouds by the equipment manufacturers, and you've got hyperscalers getting into some kind of hardware, and then luckily they couldn't do that, right? So they're like, okay, minimal efforts on our side.
See,
so
again, I want to be with the winner. If I go down this road, I want to be with the winner. That's going to be around. It might be an acquisition. It might be whatever. It might change. It will change, quite frankly.
Yes.
But I don't want a loser.
Yes.
And I hate to put it that way, where they go away. And then all of a sudden, you got this legacy system that nobody knows how to support, and
so
it's
again,
important
that's
to my
another
operations.
thing. That's again very interesting thing, because the market we work in, they just have legacy, and they don't legacy equipment, and they don't have capital to revamp their systems, right?
Yeah.
So we are now saying that, okay, and that also became our capability, that okay, you've got legacy equipment, okay, we'll bring the data on the cloud and do it that way, right? So again, I think the winner, I would say, is going to be that actually reduces the capex cost, provides something that is, again, what people have been talking about, human-centric dashboards, human centricity in the whole solution. If you say, I'm just doing it for management, and I'm not going to cater to all of the management layers or the working layers, the organizational hierarchy, it's going to fail. So
it is.
Yeah. So legacy, human centricity, and being totally cloud agnostic helped us scale, and that's I think the conversation that I was having here as well.
You're awesome. Sophia is her name. How do they get a hold of you, Sophia? How do people? Yeah. So somebody's listening to this, like, hey, I want to get a hold of her because she's pretty cool.
Write me an email or find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So my email is sophia.hasnain@link-things.com. Or I am Sophia Hasnain on LinkedIn, and you can find me there.
I would opt for the LinkedIn approach, just
Yes.
because I'm going to have that contact out on Industrial Talk, just FYI.
Okay.
Yeah, you were great.
Thank you very much.
I
Thanks,
enjoyed
Scott.
that.
I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and thank you for the opportunity.
Now, IoT Solutions World Congress, right here, you get people like Sophia, real problem solvers, helping you succeed, and that to me is a really noble purpose. All right. Again, we are broadcasting IoT Solutions World Congress 2023. Put this on your calendar. It is a must-attend event. You get to hang out with people like Sophia, and you're going to change the world. We're going to have all the contact information for her out on Industrial Talk, and we're going to wrap it up on the other side. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, I'm living the dream. You're living the dream. Industrial Talk, and listening to Sophia, she was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And every time I have these conversations with professionals like Sophia and others, it always gets down to, how do I collaborate with them? How do I connect with them? How do I work with them to solve problems? And I'm telling you right now, she's trusted. So you reach out to Sophia, because she's definitely at a different level than I am, which I'm not saying much because, well, I'm just Scott, and I geek out on this stuff. But Sophia, incredible. Thank you very much for being on Industrial Talk. All right. You need to be a part of IoT Solutions World Congress. You can see right there out on the video. If you haven't seen it out on the video, you need to see it out on the video. Incredible venue with wonderful companies. And if you're even thinking, sniffing around a digital transformation journey, you need to be a part of this particular event and connect with all of the professionals that call this a great venue for collaborating, right? You need to do that. That's IoT Solutions World Congress. I think it's in May. I'll have all the information out there, as well as all the contact information for Sophia, because you need to connect with her. All right, be bold, be brave, dare greatly. Hang out with Sophia, and you will change the world. Thank you very much. We're going to have another great conversation coming from IoT Solutions World Congress, so stay tuned.